Hey, Doc, I'm still here for Doc Sports, and today's Tuesday, and don't have any action, okay, for sports. So I got a free pick, but it's going to be for Wednesday when MAC football returns. That's right, the Maction, as they like to call it, or whatever some people like to call it, is going to be back for college football. So that's good news. 6 big games actually for some Maction action. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to talk about one of those for a free pick here in just a moment. Yours truly, as I wrote on Twitter the other day, the transparency is the leading thing about sports betting and sports handicapping from that standpoint. And I did not have a winning weekend last weekend. Okay. It happens. It happens a lot in this business because it's not easy. It's not easy to win. Okay. But you know what? You got to take the good with the bad. Okay. So I didn't have a good winning weekend, but that's the first time in 4 weeks that has occurred. So we have done extremely well in football. And still, even with not doing what we had hoped and anticipated, I'm still 20-9 recently in football, so that's very strong, over 66%. NFL 19-10, college football 13-5 the last 3 weeks. The 19-10 is since week 2 in the NFL, by the way. So still having a strong season. Just didn't have a winning week. So looking to rebound with that. And I'll have a number of plays that we'll talk about later in the week. I got something else I want to talk to you about, okay, in regards to football this weekend. And I'm sure you feel the same way, at least I'm thinking you do. But, these penalties that these defensive backs get, okay, for pass interference, I'm just amazed. And at some of the, I don't know, what's the right word? Stupidity, okay, that comes to mind in terms of some of these penalties that defensive backs make. I mean, just blatant holding, hanging on to guys and then, throwing their arms up. Here's what I don't understand, okay? Obviously, them hanging on is they're being taught to do that in part, okay, is to keep in contact with receivers, put your arm on them, do different stuff like that. And I don't know why they do that, because I know they want to stay close and I know they want to stay in contact. Okay, I get that, but you can't hold. And in your job and in my job, okay, if you're always going to be on the edge of borderline cheating, you're going to get caught, okay? It's just the fact of the matter is you're going to do that. So why not develop some other techniques that are more plausible that will help prevent you from doing that? Maybe get better with your feet, come up with some different things to do. But this ridiculous every game that you watch, there's just mind-blowing penalties, and especially in the NFL where they are so important because a pass interference call could be 40, 50 yards down the field. College, at least it's only 15, and still matters for a first down. But man, I don't know about you, and I'd love to hear from you. Look up me on Twitter at Doug Upstone, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic too, because I'm just blown away by it. Week after week and year after year, not just week after week, it's year after year after year. They have to come up with some better way to be taught to do it. They've changed how they tackle. Why can't defensive backs be taught to guard receivers in a different way? Just throwing it out there for you. Just not really mad about it. I guess I am kind of mad, but a little disgusted because it's the same thing every week. Nothing changes. There's no improvement in any way, shape, or form in this context. So might be time to try something different. Okay, let's get to today's free play, shall we? We're looking at a MAC game, as I mentioned. It's going to be Eastern Michigan at Kent State. That's going to be a 6 Eastern time start, and you can follow that on ESPN+. That's where this game's going to be at. So Eastern Michigan comes into this MACtion having to retool their team in some certain positions, but one thing that will not need any retooling is their offensive and defensive lines, which when you talk about football, that's where the game begins, always in the trenches, and they have a great deal of experience, the Golden Flashes do, on both sides of the ball, which I think will be beneficial, especially against teams who playing in this like them in this case, who have comparable talent. Now, Kent State last year, they closed the season in phenomenal fashion. 4-0. They went down the stretch and they covered their last 5 games, and they'll have a very solid offensive crew coming back. Their weakness is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, where they are lacking in both in size and in strength. So that's going to be a deficit for them coming to this one. And if Eastern Michigan can get the ground game going, running between the tackles, that's going to be a huge advantage for them to stay in this game. In this matchup, I'm going to grab Eastern Michigan, the Eagles, with the points, and take the 6 in this one. And also knowing the fact that they're 25-13 on the road and a sharp 20-10 as away underdogs, let's take Eastern Michigan plus the 6 over Kent State. So there's today's free play. I'll be back on Thursday with another, unless I come up with something else in between. I don't want to keep handing out MAC games for you, but if I come up with something else in between, I'll slide that in there too. So this is Doug Upton for Doc Sports. Until next time, I'm out.